Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing how to create images with transparency using GIMP. GIMP's a free open source image editor. It's available for Mac OS, Windows and for Linux, and it's available for download from www.gimp.org. So first of all, let me show you the image that we're going to be playing around with. This is our old house image, and we're going to be adding some transparency to this in a couple of different ways. So let's go into GIMP. We're going to open up our images. So this is the original image. We're not going to change this at all. We're just going to play around with old house 2 and also old house 3 as well. So at the moment they're identical images other than the file names. So let's go to old house 2, and just supposing we want to add some nice transparent rounded corners to this image. It's pretty simple to do. Sometimes the problem is just remembering to make sure you do all the steps, otherwise it won't actually work very well for you. So we're going to add some rounded corners here, and first of all we're going to go up to select, then we're going to come down here to rounded rectangle, and we have a radius of 50 selected, which is quite big. You might not use this in real life maybe, but for our demonstration it's going to work quite well. I'm going to click on OK, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but you should be able to see an outline of these rounded corners on each corner. And then we're going to go up to select again, and we're going to select invert. Now you won't actually see anything changing at that point, but now we're going to go on to layer, onto transparency, and we're going to click on add alpha channel. Now sometimes that may be grayed out, which means that you already have an alpha channel selected, in which case you don't need to worry about it, but here we don't. So we're going to just click on add alpha channel, and then we're going to come back over here to edit. Going to come down and click on clear, and you should be able to see now that those corners have disappeared. And that's about it. That's really all you need to do. So we're going to save this, click on file, going to export, and you got to remember that you need to save this in a format which supports transparency, because not every image format does support transparency. So for example, in this case it's no good saving it as a JPEG, so we're going to choose to save it as a PNG, although there are other file formats which also support transparency too. So we're going to save that as oldhouse2.png. We're going to get these options come up, and you need to remember that this option at the bottom here, save color values from transparent pixels, is selected. By default it should be selected, but just make sure that it is, otherwise it's probably not going to work very well for you. And then click on export, and that's that one done. So we're just going to edit the web page that I showed you earlier on, so that we can see the effects of our transparency that we added. Just save that and go back to our web page. I'm going to refresh this, and there we go. There's our nicely rounded old house 2 PNG file. So that was pretty straightforward. But it's not the only thing you can do with transparency. You don't have to use pre-selected shapes or anything like that. So I'm going to come over here to old house number 3, and we're going to use the freehand tool in this case. So click on that. Now just going to create some points along the top of the roof here, and we're just going to cut out those trees at the top there. And I'm not making a terribly good job of this, but you'll get the idea. Come down here to the bottom right, all the way across to the bottom left, join our dots up again, and then I'm going to click on select and invert. Got to remember to check the add alpha channel, so layer, transparency, add alpha channel. Come over to here to edit, clear, and you should be able to see that everything outside of our selected area has disappeared. Now we're going to save this, so we're going to export this, and again it's asking if we want to save it as a JPEG, but we don't, because we won't get our transparency that way. So we're going to save it as a PNG, and again we're going to get these options come up, and we need to make sure that we save color values from transparent pixels. So we're going to export that, and we're going to come back down to our web page so that we can see that third image now. Okay, we're going to refresh this, and there we go. Here's our 3 images. So it's really not very complicated to do. You just got to remember to follow each of those steps, and you shouldn't really get any problems at all. Alright, so one more thing that you might want to do is to have an image with a completely transparent background, and that's easy enough to do as well. So we'll create a new image here, and this one, as you can see, has a blue background to begin with, but we can get rid of that easily enough. So we do a similar process to before: layer, transparency, add alpha channel. And now we could go into edit and clear as we did before, or you can just press the delete key on your keyboard. It does the same thing. So let's add some text to this image, and we'll type something in. And that's about it, really. All we need to do is save it. So we'll export that, and need to remember to do this as a PNG file as we did before. We'll call it text.png, and we'll export that. Again, we want to make sure that we have this checkbox checked at the bottom there. Okay, so let's go back to our web page, and this is the web page that we did have. I've modified it a little bit, so let's just edit our page. We'll get rid of this comment and save it. Let's refresh, and now we should be able to see our text. Now, just to make sure that it really does have transparency and that we didn't inadvertently save it with a white background or something like that, I've set up this page so that we can change the color of the background easily enough. And as you can see, all the images, including the one that we just made, do indeed have transparency. So that's about it. It's that easy, and hopefully you'll have no problem making some of these yourself. There is also another way that you may find useful for creating transparency, and that's if you have an image like this one, which I've added to the page we previously looked at.
So with the white background, everything looks fine, of course, but change the background color of the page and it's not really such a great look. So we'd really like to get rid of that white background on the image so that it blends nicely with whatever the color of the page is. So we could spend a couple of hours trying to cut around the outline of the people here. But on images like this, where you have a solid color background, there is a much easier way. All we need to do is go to the select option from the menu and click on by color, and then simply double click on the white background of the image. You should then see the outline which has been selected. Just press delete or from the menu edit and clear. Then we'll save it as a PNG again, and we'll overwrite the existing image we have saved and export it to people.png. Of course, you can do this for any color background, it doesn't need to be white. So if we go back to the web page now and refresh it, when we change the page color, you can see that the white background of the image has now disappeared. So that really is about it for now. I hope you found the video useful. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated. See you next time.
If you liked this video, please take a moment just to click the like and the subscribe buttons below. Your support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.